guys, and welcome back to my channel. The case that I'm going to be looking into today is the unsolved disappearance of Sherry Marler, a girl that went missing about over 35 years ago now, and to this day we still don't know what has happened to her. Sherry Lynn Marler was just 12 years old when she went missing, and at the time she lived with her mother, that was called Betty, and she also lived with her stepfather, and he was called Raymond Stringfellow. They lived on a family farm in Greenville in Alabama, and Sherry absolutely loved working on this farm. She actually earned the nickname Little Farmer, that is what they used to call her, because she just loved it. She absolutely loved it. And this was in Butler County. There was not that many people that lived there. It was thought to be quite a safe place to live. Sherry was described as a really happy child. She was a tomboy, and she just always seemed content with what she was doing all the time. So on the 6th of June in 1984, Betty woke up to go, because she had to get to her early shift at the Waffle House for 7 AM. So obviously she had to get up really early. When she gets up, she sees her daughters on the sofa because Sherry had actually given up her bed for her stepfather's auntie that was coming to visit. So she let her stay in there, and she said, I don't mind sleeping on the sofa. So that is what she did. When she left for work in the morning, Sherry was still fast asleep on the sofa. Then shortly after 9 AM, Sherry actually wakes up to the sound of her stepfather's red pickup truck backing up down the driveway, and she decides that she wants to go with him. So she literally opens her eyes, she runs out there to try and get his attention because she obviously wants to go with him. She doesn't even have her shoes on her feet. She literally runs out with them in her hand because she's just trying to get out there, and she asks him if she can come, and he of course says yes she can. So in the car she gets. At about 9:30, they both stopped at the First National Bank. Now Raymond had stopped there because he needed to sign some papers, and Sherry decided that she really wanted a drink, and so he gave her $1 note so that she could nip into the Chevron garage just across the road. He told her that he would be in the bank, meet back at the car in like 15 minutes kind of thing. Witnesses saw Sherry walking across the parking lot by the General Telephone Building and Jernigan's furniture store on her way to the gas station. So that's that. Raymond finishes up his paperwork. He goes back to the car 15 minutes later, and he is quite surprised to find that Sherry isn't there. I mean, she was literally going for a Coke or something. You know, she wouldn't have been that long. Even if there was like a big queue, she wouldn't be too long. So he decides that he's going to wait at the car for a few more minutes, and I believe he waits for another 25 minutes before he begins to panic, because even if the queue was massive or she'd gotten distracted by something, she should have definitely been there by now. So he starts looking around for her in the obvious places. He looks around the gas station, cannot find her. He rings Betty to see whether she'd nipped over to the Waffle House for some reason, like just exhausting all the options. And Betty replies that she hasn't seen her, she hasn't seen her since she left for a shift that morning. He asked around at the tractor shop and the feed store. Again, she was called Little Farmer for a reason, because she just loved absolutely everything to do with it, including hanging out at those stores. So it was a popular hangout for her, so we went and checked those as well, but no sign of her. They reported her missing at 11:46 AM, and obviously everyone jumped on it. The community were all out there searching. Loads of people were all helping the police, just trying to find this little girl. Before long, a massive search effort was underway. Volunteers sifted through the city and the surrounding areas. An aerial search was done, which was conducted by Cruise Shore Flying Services. Family, friends, volunteers printed off missing persons posters and plastered them all around the city and neighbouring towns. Literally, they did everything they could. Despite all their best efforts, Sherry still remains missing to this day. Of course, with missing children, they do age progression photos, and there have been a few of them done of Sherry as to what she might look like now. So if anybody out there recognises her, then please do get in touch with the relevant authorities or her family or something like that. At the time she disappeared, Sherry was 5'4". She had this scar. Well, she had two scars, in fact. One was on her abdomen, and that was about 2 inches long, and she had a scar on her shoulder, which would have been about 1 inch long. She was wearing a red plaid flannel shirt light jeans and grey running shoes. Now, she was wearing a watch too, which had a black strap. Now, there were 3 reported sightings of Sherry. They are not confirmed, but they believe it was Sherry, and she was seen by 3 different people. Again, this is unconfirmed. We don't truly know that it was her, but, you know, people really did believe that it was her. They all described the same man with this girl, about 5'8", husky build, and weathered skin with pronounced crow's feet. One of the witnesses claimed that they saw Sherry at a truck stop in Conley, Georgia. She said that this girl who she thought was Sherry, referred to this man as BJ. Every single one of the witnesses said that they saw Sherry appeared to be dazed and disheveled. The last known sighting was in a mall in New Orleans, but eventually all of these were dismissed because there was just lack of evidence to prove that it was actually her. Of course, they questioned the family. Normally, abductions happen, unfortunately, by family members. Stranger abduction is a lot more uncommon, but it does happen, of course. But they questioned Raymond. He was the last one to be seen with her, you know, so obviously he is going to be like one of the first people that they questioned, which they did. He maintained his innocence, said that he didn't do anything, and his wife Betty was positive that he would never ever do anything to harm Sherry. One of the sad aspects of this case is that Raymond passed away in 2003. He never knew what happened to Sherry, which absolutely breaks my heart. And some of his last words to his wife were, "Betty, I wish I could get Sherry and bring her home to you, but I can't because I don't know where she is." And that's just, it's so sad. Like, he passed away without ever knowing what happened to her. Now, I've seen that the police didn't actually suspect anyone from the family, so they didn't, after thoroughly questioning him, they didn't think it was Raymond. They didn't think it was anyone from the family at all, which obviously leaves either the fact that she has run away or a stranger abduction. And that takes us into the theories of the case, because obviously runaway is like a big theory with children that go missing. The problem here is that Sherry didn't take anything with her, like, at all, not even a bag of clothes. Like, you think if she's going to wake up in the morning and decide that she's going to run away, or had planned it, that she would at least take a rucksack with some clothing or something, but she literally had nothing. She ran out there without even shoes on her feet at the time. So, if she did run away, it wasn't planned very well. And I know she's only 12, how much planning can she really do? But she knows that she needs clothes and things like that. So, you know, why would she do that without taking anything? And her mother has always insisted that Sherry was a happy, content child with no real significant issues, you know, no reason to want to run away. She said that Sherry was excited about the plans that she had made that day, the day that she went missing. She was going to go and visit her grandmother, and she had plans to watch a favourite TV show. So she actually had plans of what she was going to do that day as well. So it's not really something that people do when they're planning on running away. Since the day she disappeared, she's had no contact with any members of her family. She didn't have any money apart from the $1 to buy her can of Coke with. That was it. And there's just been nothing from her since. So that leads us to the stranger abduction theory, where it may be possible that at the time, Betty has said that the vending machines then did not give change. And so she would have gone in with this money, and if she actually needed change or wanted to get change just so she could get like a drink and then have money left over, she would possibly have to approach somebody for that change. And it's believed that maybe if this did happen, that person took that opportunity and took Sherry and lured her away against her will. And she didn't even know him, literally an opportunist. And then obviously you've got the theory that the family did it, but the police have actually ruled that one out. So, you know, I don't really think that one's too credible. There is this group that was very committed to find out what happened to Sherry. And they have a Facebook page that is called Sherry Lynn Marler Still Missing. And they had been looking into it for years, into all of the clues, anything that they could run up leads on, they were looking into it all. And they claim that they have information that leads them to believe that Sherry is no longer alive. Now, obviously, that is just from that post. You can actually go and find it yourself and look into this theory in more depth. It is actually, there's a lot more information on it, but obviously I'm not going to put it all in this video. It is, at the end of the day, it's a theory. We have no idea what happened to Sherry, and neither do they. There's no proof of it. There's no evidence, no nothing, and her case to this day remains unsolved. But what we do know is that Sherry's loved ones have had to live decades without having a clue what happened to their little girl. She was just a fun-loving tomboy who loved farming, loved being outside, loved listening to her Kenny Rogers albums. She had an adventurous spirit and couldn't wait to trade him in her moped for a three-wheeler on her 13th birthday, which wasn't actually that far off when she went missing. Like, she was almost at her 13th birthday. Betty still manages to find some solace in all of this. She said, Sherry was always a happy little girl, and that's what I remember the most, even in my dreams. Betty has fought hard over the years to try and keep her daughter's memory alive, and of course videos like these help to do so because we still don't know what happened to her. I truly hope one day that we do find out what happened to Sherry. And I know Raymond unfortunately never got to find out, but hopefully we can find out what happened to her. For Betty, for her mother and the rest of her family, because it's truly heartbreaking when a child goes missing and you just don't have a clue what happened to them. And it happens so often, and that is even more tragic. Like, there's just so many missing children in the world. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that is the end of the case. If you have liked this video, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for similar content. Anyway guys, that's all I have today on the case of Sherry Marler. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.